maybe yesterday on live, they said, how do you know when something is worth thinking about? It's worth thinking about if it came to my brain. It's worth thinking about it. So sometimes people will tell you, oh, you think too much. You're too whatever. No, it came in my brain and it's worth thinking about. Now, I have structures in my brain to help me process it, right? So just because it's in my brain doesn't mean it's going to be a dilemma for you. Because I'm going to think it, but I'm going to process it as well. And I'm not going to hold you responsible or accountable, right? Going back to communication, a lot of times you are unclear about why you're communicating. And so you're getting a result you don't like and getting mad at the person, but you don't really know why you're communicating. And you don't know how to put it in such a way to satisfy yourself. Communication really is about self-satisfaction. It really is. Communication is about you saying to your soul you deserve to be heard, and asking your soul in being heard, what do you need from this? Do you need understanding? Do you need resolution? Or do you just need to be known, right? This is about self-satisfaction. And based upon what you got from the soul is how you're gonna deliver it. Okay? So if my soul goes, I just want to self-express, okay, then that means I don't expect no answer from the person. If they give me a thank you for sharing that or nothing at all, if they start giving their perspective, all of that is all right. Because I said what I needed to say and I feel self-expressed. If I'm trying to be understood, then I'm going to regard that person's known triggers. Okay, if I know certain words, certain topics, certain areas are going to cause this not to go over well, then I'm not going to give it in that manner because it's about self-satisfaction. It doesn't benefit me to give a message to a person in a triggering way when I want understanding. If I want resolution, then I'm going to make sure I don't include blame energies. I'm going to make sure I talk a certain way. I'm going to make sure I don't do this. Well, every time you do, I'm going to avoid generalizations. Every time I try to talk to you, that's going to trigger somebody. So if I want to resolve or be understood, I'm going to stay away from that. If I know that person is going to pop off every time I bring up a past situation, I'm going to use another situation. It's about self-satisfaction. Because once I'm done in the communication, no matter what my goal was, if I couldn't achieve the goal, I'm going to come back within myself and go, are you satisfied that you tried? Are you satisfied that you expressed and the information went out? Are you satisfied that you did the best that you could to deliver it in a package that was receivable? And if the answer is yes, I can release that. But if you don't have this process, you're going to keep going over and over again thinking, oh, I could have said that different and I could have done that different. Or you're going to be blaming every time I do this, and it just doesn't go anywhere. Sometimes you get fixated on a person or an outcome and you forget that relationships and people are vessels. That doesn't stop it from hurting, but it puts it in perspective for you. So let's talk about the law of rhythm really quick. There are overarching rhythms, like in our lifetime. There are rhythms within periods of time, like centuries or decades, weeks, months, years. The 24-hour period, 12-hour period, the law of rhythm is constantly happening, right? And it says it's a principle that governs the cyclical nature of life, energy, and the universe, that everything flows in and out, rises and falls, operates in cycles. This law is the reason for the change of seasons, the change in your relationship, your relational needs, your relational desires. Day and night, the rise and fall of civilization. This is a universal law. The law of rhythm teaches us that change is a natural and inevitable part of life. Let me say that again. I'm going to make that a post. That's good. Change is a natural and inevitable. I love these principles. Part of life. Change is a natural and inevitable part of life. That's something you need to take in your toolbox. Because I have been a person that kicked against change. Let me tell you, I was born and raised in New Orleans. And New Orleans is not like other cities where people they call them transplants. Okay? That's not how New Orleans was pre-Katrina. Generations were born there and they stood there, and that's it. Okay? And people would go away, but a lot of them would come back. Not all of them. But the reason that culture is so thick and so rich is because it's been enduring through the generations, right? So when Hurricane Katrina happened, it shook us all up. Like, what the fuck is life doing? Okay? Because this is not the way it's supposed to be. And it began to produce grief and suffering and decisions in a lot of people. Change is natural and inevitable. And within relationships, change is natural and inevitable. And what governs whether or not we can change together is our ability, number one, to resolve conflict, is our level of personal awareness and responsibility. I can't teach that enough. There are a lot of aware people going on around here, but they have no clue what to do with that awareness. Okay? So we're talking about what's going to help us grow together, our ability to resolve conflict, our ability to create and cultivate intimacy, our ability to be self-aware and self-responsible, and the extent to which we plug in to one another's heart. That matters. So if any or all of those situations are not there, then the law of rhythm is going to happen. But you're going to grow like this rather than like this. That's good, right? It reminds us that everything has its own rhythm and cycles, and nothing remains static. Nothing. The cells in your body are constantly moving. Atoms, electrons, down to the quantum level. But you want people to stay the same. You want the relationship to stay the same. You keep looking back, talking about, I want to go back to when the good old days, or the days when we had this, or the days when this or that was happening. But you're in this present moment, and this present moment is moving. And it's going to move according to your creation, whether that creation be based upon the past or whether that creation be based upon your intuitive faculties. So if you're in a relationship right now that is changing, okay, we're not going to kick against the change, right? We're not going to kick against the change, and love is supreme. We're going to acknowledge the change. Something is changing. We're not going to judge the change, okay? Because I think one of the first places we go wrong is we acknowledge a change and we judge it as wrong. We begin to move to try to control it and stop it rather than understand the nature of it and see how we can flow with it, because we're scared of flow. Because flow might lead us into some uncertainty, because flow may lead us into a place we don't want to be, and we can't stand that because of all our fears that we haven't faced. And flow might bring us into facing our fears, so we better do something to stop this. It might be something that I don't like, and it might be something that I feared my whole life, and I don't want to face that, so let me control. But we just heard it say that change is inevitable. So for me, now that I've been able to evolve out of that, I like to remain stable. I say this, I'm a very routine person, okay? I'm acknowledging what I thrive in. I thrive in routine, not schedule, routine. When I wake up in the morning, I know I got my morning clients. I know I'm going to teach my classes. I know I'm going to come back and have lunch and homeschool. Then I know I have my evening clients. So sometimes my schedule gets